This is Season 7 of the Team Roping Journal's podcast, The Score, the show that started it all in the whole podcasting game in team roping and rodeo. At 3 million downloads and counting, this is where team ropers talk, from our weekly short score episodes to the longer sit-down conversations that we get to have that dive deep into the personalities, producers, and horses that inspire the sport. This is where team ropers get their must-know information. Hey everyone, it's Chelsea Schaefer. Welcome to today's episode of The Score. This is another episode as part of our series on, I want to call it, like I say every week, the retirement series, but it's not really retirement. It's just shifting, doing something different. And that is what is happening for so many guys, it happens to everybody in professional rodeo. And this episode is with Kory Koontz, who stepped away after 22 NFRs in favor of building a life with his wife and financial security and teaching a lot of roping schools with Charlie Crawford. You know, after Kory stepped away, he did win the BFI, so he's got kind of an interesting retirement / rodeo slowdown story. So his perspective is very valuable. Of course, he has over $2.5 million in professional rodeo earnings, but in this episode, he gets pretty real about what $2.5 million in pro rodeo earnings looks like after your career is all said and done. So enjoy Kory Koontz. Today's episode is brought to you by Fastback Ropes. Fastback Ropes is thrilled to unveil its latest innovation in roping technology, the Hombre. Find out more at fastbackropes.com. I'm working on a story for the magazine on quitting. Not quitting, but on quitting. I don't think in team roping we can even say quitting because nobody actually quits. But
nobody ever quits.
In transitioning, whether it's temporarily or permanently or whatever variation of retirement looks like for folks. And right. I was wondering if you could tell me about when you knew you were done. And I don't want to say done, but when you knew you were ready to take a break. Or take a longer permanent break, I guess.
I guess there were several different variables that played into me deciding I was done competing for a living. Mm-hmm. And that's what I would call it. I've still entered a jackpot or 2 or 3 each year, and I do enjoy that, and it has a whole different meaning now because my livelihood does not depend on whether I win that day or not. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of, freed up the whole, when people say they're having fun, it's like, well, for my whole career, it was like, well, if I win, it's fun. If I don't win, it sucks. Mm-hmm. And I still kind of feel that way, but not nearly as much because I can still pay my bills, and mm-hmm. I don't have all of this overhead depending on every single time I run a steer, it meaning everything as far as income. Mm-hmm. And so I guess after me and Dustin were done, and then I kind of went a couple of years there amateur rodeoing and just kind of staying around home, and then in COVID came along to where I hadn't planned on going out and rodeoing, and I realized that I could stay home even if I just amateur rodeoed. My bottom line at the end of the year, mm-hmm. I still had about the same profit. Mm-hmm. And so I could rodeo full time and try to make the NFR and win big ropings and profit X amount, or I could stay home, nickel and dime, go to little small stuff and jackpot and stay really busy, but never get more than 3 or 4 hours from home and profit X amount, about the same. And then I finally just got kind of sick of the whole rat race, like the whole everything depending constantly on winning or losing.
Mm-hmm.
And so then, and I always knew that I loved to teach and that I would figure out how to do schools, clinics and teach and all of that. And it just took me a long time to get to the point where I was ready. I'm real black and white. Like, there's not a lot of kind of middle, lukewarm kind of ground. Like, I either going to go full on or actually be done. And so I just knew that at some point when I finally called it quits as far as competing on a regular basis, well, then I needed to feel like in my heart that competition side of me was gone.
Yeah.
And after when me and Cheyenne started dating, and I told her that I was ready to be done, and she was concerned about it because she didn't want to get involved with someone that was running around rodeoing full time and doing all of that. And so it was a good time for me to, sure enough, draw a line in the sand and be done and make a commitment. And she helped me a lot with just kind of the whole building the business side of doing clinics and making phone calls and being committed to it and not halfway doing it, but really diving into it and trying to be good at it. And that's what I'd never done anything other than rope and compete. And so I have definitely learned a lot about business sense after starting to kind of learn how to, well, for one thing, budget.
Right.
I think I told you that before, but it's like I'd heard the word, but I literally didn't know how to budget money because I never had extra. I never knew when the money was going to come in. And my whole life raising my kids and stuff, every bit of it all went back into the business, into rodeoing, horses, vet, shoeing, feed, all of that, or it went to the kids. And so it was like there was never, like I never cut any out aside to invest in anything or to buy property or to do anything, buy anything and get into anything that appreciated. Everything I ever spent my money on depreciated. Right. And so it's just bad business. Yeah. You know, just a lot of money went through my hands and I never kept any of it. I never put anything into anything that would turn back into money later. And so it's just bad decisions and bad business on my part. But at the time, I'd say, I guess 2021 is when I decided, okay, I'm done competing for a living. I'm going to do clinics. I'm going to teach, and I'm going to work at that and pour everything I got into that so that I can, because I can't retire I don't have any money to retire on. So I got to work, but I'm retired from competing on a regular basis. And I didn't have a ton of money to like invest in horses or do the futurity deal. And I wasn't set up with a property in a place where I could ride a bunch of horses for a living and say, do the Cade Rice deal, or like Trevor went into doing that kind of deal, or Kobe Lovell. Like, I just wasn't set up for that. So what I did was I cut all the overhead, got rid of most all the horses. And then Cheyenne and I got married. She has a good job. And then I started the clinic business started building up to the point to where we both are doing well. We bought a place, and now we're just building up to the point to where we can live the way we want to live and make our own rules, basically, and not just, have all of the anxieties that money has always brought on hanging over our head all the time. And it doesn't mean that we're sure not made out of money still, but we can live way more comfortable, and then getting rid of debt so that we kind of cash flow each thing we want to do. And then she can run barrels, and I support that. And I go to the BFI, the Spicer Grip, and maybe the Riata Buckle, maybe 2 to 3 events each year now. And that pretty much, and I borrow Trip Townsend's little blue horse that
decent
fits
one
me
to
real
borrow.
well.
Yeah,
I don't even own a heel horse.
Real decent horse to borrow. Yep.
yeah, great horse. I'd never practice. But I still feel like when I go to those ropings, it's a catching contest, not a go fast contest. And so I can just rope what's comfortable to me, even though I don't work at it a whole lot. I'm talking it, living it, and speaking it and teaching it every day. So it keeps it fresh in my mind. And so it kind of goes back to all of the years that I made NFRs without a practice pen, because it was always going through my mind, the things I needed to do, how I trained my mind, how I was going to react in these situations that you would get into, and then I would execute. And so now it's like I can still kind of just keep that frame of mind and go compete on a couple of 3 times a year and feel good with it and enjoy it. And then I get to see all the guys and kind of, talk to everybody and get a little glimpse of that. But then I can go back into all of my schedule being full and, making a good profit throughout the year, because I don't have a lot of overhead, and I'm not, I'm not over invested, so that I can live comfortably and I still got to travel some, but I get to create my schedule. I can be gone as much or home as much as I want, and I can kind of make it to where I can go as much as possible with Cheyenne to the barrel races, and especially when she's got big entry fees up and a lot of money up. And then I also it's kind of funny, just me learning how to train a barrel horse, or how to be involved with her, and us kind of teaming up on.
I love that. Yeah.
We've got a fraternity colt now that's out of RR Mr. Kelly, and she's 4 years old, and her fraternity year is going to be next year. And so we're building her and kind of seasoning her, going and exhibitioning her and doing stuff like that. And so next year, Cheyenne will get to play that game a little bit, and our end goal is for this horse to be really good, not necessarily to sell, but something that Cheyenne could have fun on for the years to come. Say she wanted to amateur rodeo a little bit in the summer, or go to a couple of pro rodeos, or just jackpot, but have a chance to win, at the 1D level, not the 3D level. And that's something that she's really strive for. So now it's more rewarding for me to kind of almost play the backup role or the supporting role, instead of me, the one in the limelight all the time. And I love that. So that's kind of the whole
picture
how
of
it's
it.
all evolved.
Yeah. Today's episode is brought to you by Fastback Ropes. Fastback Ropes is thrilled to unveil its latest innovation in roping technology, the Hombre. After rigorous testing by Fastback endorsees over the past year, the Hombre is set to redefine performance expectations in team roping. A four-strand crafted with a core, the Hombre stands out with its vibrant orange color, ensuring exceptional visibility in any arena. Its smaller diameter and rough exterior are meticulously designed to enhance grip, making it ideal for swift and precise maneuvers around the saddle horn. Available in both head and heel variations, the Hombre head rope spans 31 feet and is offered in extra soft, soft, and medium soft lays. Meanwhile, the 35-foot heel rope options include soft, medium, and hard medium lays. This versatility ensures that every roper can find a Hombre rope to suit their specific needs. Find out more at fastbackropes.com.
Getting to the point, I guess, where I was ready to, what you would call quit, was just realizing how sick I was of the constant battle of the gamble of winning and losing all the time.
Yeah. And how much longer do you think if you had won a gold buckle in, say, 05, or, all those other times you were close, Kory, do you think you would have kept going? Like, was that pursuit what kept you going at any point?
I really don't think I would have quit any sooner if I had won a gold buckle, say, in 05 or even in 2015 with Colby Lovell.
With Colby, yeah.
When we had a chance on the last steer. I maybe in 15, but definitely not in 05. Because in 05, I was just still felt like I could do anything I wanted. I could win, And then I guess as you get a little older and as you start to realize all the young guys coming up and all of the, like, just how it's amazing how kind of numb or dumb I was to the fact that there was, I could always be beat. But I always felt like, well, I'm going to come out on top. Yeah. Whether I want to go buckle or not, like at the end of this year, I'm going to be successful. And I'm going to win more than I lose. And so then you finally get to the point where it's like, you know what? This is like I feel beat. Like I feel like I'm not winning enough. I'm not successful enough. And even though I still rope good, it's a team sport. It's a great header and a great heeler teaming up and doing really well together. And I sure wasn't willing to go back and get another young guy and continue in that route, kind of like Patrick's done with Tanner and like I did with several guys. I didn't want to go that route. And then I wasn't getting the best guys that were, say, the top 5 guys that would immediately give you a for sure NFR and a chance to win a championship. So without wanting to do one and not being able to get the other, and it's like, you know what? I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm ready, honestly, to be done. And I've never looked back. Never one time. And I have guys ask all the time, man, you wish you could just go back one more time. That money's really good. And I'm like, nope. It still costs a lot to get there. And then the reason those guys are winning more money is because that's just what it's going to take for them to even break even.
Right.
When it's all said and done. So I know how the numbers work, and I do not want to go back.
Yeah. Now, were there times when you were younger when your kids were little or when times were tough financially, that you were super burnout and you almost quit? Or did you take any, like,
No,
no?
never, never once. I
That's
mean,
wild.
I, and I probably get it from my mom,
Uh-huh.
just this eternal optimist way of looking at things. And it was so I made 16 in a row, and then I missed a couple of years, and then I come back and made a couple of more, and then I missed a couple more in those later years. And still, if anything, it just built the fire even hotter in me to come back and overcome, whatever's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I never got, I got tired of driving miles, but I still did it by myself and hardly ever had a driver, and just bear down and go and try to do my best. But then when I was done, then I was done.
Mm-hmm.
And I caught myself, like roping with Manny at a lot of them Ammies and stuff. I caught myself like having a bad attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And Manny was really, really good because he didn't let it get to him. But there's no way he couldn't tell,
Mm-hmm.
because if he missed, I was mad, and if I missed, I was mad.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like there wasn't a whole lot of, it's just I just knew after, that going on, and then kind of self-reflecting, it was like, you know what? There's no use in putting myself through this. I need to move on.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of how that worked. And the COVID year deal just showed me I could stay home
Mm-hmm.
and still be okay. Like I didn't have to go.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for years I thought I had to. Like
Mm-hmm.
I felt almost trapped into it, to where if I want to live the way I'm living and I don't want to work for somebody else, and I'm all of this, like what my life is used to being, I got to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And then, that year really showed me that, because nothing really stopped that much in Texas,
Mm-hmm.
even though
Yeah.
the COVID deal hit, we still stay busy and go compete and go do whatever. And life didn't really change that much in Texas, but it did in a lot of other places.
Mm-hmm.
And but it just kind of opened my eyes up to where I was at, what I was doing, and then the way I feel, which I still feel like I could go compete and do well at some of these bigger ropings. But winning the BFI in 21 was like, that was huge, and kind of almost just ushered me right into that next year. This last year, the amount that I made for the whole year in 24, I'll make that much by the end of June.
Mm-hmm.
And so
That's
it's
amazing.
like, it's really, and Charlie Crawford's been a big part of that, because I do a lot with him, but then I still do a lot just on my own.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got to where, unless I want to feel like I'm rodeoing, I've got to manage my schedule more to where I can be home and spend time with my wife and spend time riding barrel horses and going and doing little private deals around here with people that I'm close to, and then seeing my grandkids, and that kind of stuff, and being around my family as much as possible.
Yeah.
But
yeah, absolutely. I love it for you, Kory. I'm excited for you.
well, I appreciate it. Yeah,
Of course. Very
Anyway.
cool, sir. Well, thank you for letting me
Yeah.
call you out of the blue and pick your brain.
You bet. You bet.
Well,
Picked a good day to do it.
yeah, heck yeah.
Hi, I'm Elise Schaefer, and thank you for listening to my mom's podcast. Thank you to the team at Fastback Ropes for sponsoring today's show.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for listening to The Score, and we will be back at you in a couple weeks.